let's jump into the charts as we await, just in an hour from now, the cavalcade of earnings. Here's the diamonds, and they are down some, not quite 1%. It's the same story. They did not achieve lifetime highs. They have fallen short of doing so, and they are respecting that broken trend line. The Dow 30, as I keep saying, just like Q1 2000, topped out a while ago and is letting tech just run with the zaniness. And so it has, over the course of the past about 7 trading days, pretty much been falling. Pretty much lower lows and lower highs on a day-to-day basis, and a couple of thousand points below lifetime highs. The small caps, IWM, they had their lifetime high, I think, last week. Today, just about a perfect gap seal. Let's watch that. Can we crack it tomorrow? As it has been now, we had our peak here last week, and yesterday and today some weakness, and at today's weakest point, just sealed that gap up nice and neat. So we'll see if that holds or not. Kind of interesting to observe. But as I said, semiconductors, which are the 7 cylinders of this 8-cylinder engine driving the market, those maintaining their strength, had just a touch of weakness yesterday. That's been dispatched. We're up 1.66% right now, in the vicinity of lifetime highs. The actual intraday peak was on Monday, and the lifetime close high was on Friday, and we're still in that vicinity now. It's a real mixed bag. It's incredible. Actually, I haven't even looked at Nvidia today. I've been very distracted by other things, but I've not looked at Nvidia. I have no idea what they're doing. Let's just take a peek. I'm cheating here a little bit. I'm going to look. I'm curious. This doesn't agree with the symbol on your screen. Okay, it's back within that. Shame on me for not including that. That's kind of important, but it has slipped back into its pattern. So sorry if I messed up the symbols on your screen, but we're back to the regularly scheduled program now. Crude oil is really strong, and it's like people have stopped caring about it. It's very odd, very, very odd that it would be this strong. Let me try to put it this way. Let's say in February, let's say we took a time machine back to February before all this had happened. And we gathered up a bunch of economists and market analysts and so forth and said, just for the sake of argument, what if oil prices doubled in a couple of months? And after they stopped laughing at the preposterous hypothesis we're putting forward, they'd probably say, well, my God, it would wreck this, it would wreck that, the Dow would be down 10,000 points, etc. It's come about in such a way that people have kind of gotten used to it. We have not just triple-digit oil, but Brent crude's like 119, 120 a barrel, and it's kind of a version of the frog in the pot where the water comes up slowly. This one's been a little bit different. It's like the frog was in the pot and they cranked it to boiling and they simmered it down again, and now it's slowly going back to boiling, and the frog is just kind of used to it. It's like, well, water's super hot. That's just how things are. So, because oil was a 50-ish a barrel creature early in February, and now it's triple digits and has no signs of slowing down, it seems, because it's not like, oh yeah, did you hear about the nuclear war in the Mideast? Things are actually relatively quiet over there. There's proposals going back and forth that are not being accepted, but it's not like there's a hot war all of a sudden. So just saying, people just don't seem to care that much, because the equity markets are at lifetime highs now, and pretty much, and the NQ up triple digits today. Oil doesn't seem to matter. Strange, isn't it? Okay, let's look at some earnings from yesterday. I made mention of being short Robinhood, HOOD, and that worked out. We were plunging on that one like 15% or so, having a nice tumble on Robinhood. Nice rounded top on that one, so yeah, worked out. A couple of earnings that were explosive yesterday, and I think led credibility to the zany tech valuations we've got. Well, one was the earnings, one was a sympathy play. The earnings was STX, Seagate, and Seagate exploded higher. But let's zoom in. Look at this. They opened quite strong, and they peaked way up here just about at 700. This was a 500s yesterday and was at almost 700 today. But look what it's doing. That big red bar. And just as a reminder, it's a candlestick. The red bar only means that the present price is lower than the open price. We're trading at the lows of the day right now. I shorted STX and WDC earlier today based upon the old selling into strength maxim. And so I've got a profitable short on STX in spite of it being up about 10% because it's a new trade. And then WDC, which reports, I think, tonight, they blasted higher in sympathy as well. That's one of those funny trading words, sympathy. It always sounds sad, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It just means kind of contango, it's going along with it. So it's sort of a joyous sympathy higher. So WDC blasted higher, but same deal. It was much, much higher earlier today. It's trading at the day's lows. So I'm short STX as of earlier today. I'm also short WDC as of earlier today, even though they're announcing earnings tonight. One of the most common questions I get is, do you hold on to positions through earnings? Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I kind of pay a little bit of extra attention, but good heavens, it's just like, oh wait, there's earnings tonight. I better close everything. What? No, it's a chart. I mean, the chart should have the whatever information is embedded into the fact earnings are coming already. So yeah, the answer is no. I don't. It's like, oh, there's earnings. I'd better get out. I might lose money. No, that's the answer. SNDK, by the way, has been continuing to blast to lifetime highs regularly. This is very much related to SDX and WDC. These are all storage companies. SanDisk being a much younger public entity, but has done sensationally well, up 900% since it went public, something like that. So that's just, I'm not short that because I'm just not. Okay, I'm gonna beat myself up more about my closed gold position. Won't that be fun? My miners, more specifically, gold continues to fall just like I said it would, and I stupidly covered my gold miner short for no good reason. So shame on me. And I say this every day, but it just keeps falling. And I'll say what I did. I'll say what I said yesterday and the day before. It's probably just going to keep falling. I could easily see this going to 4,000. So yeah, shame on me. GDX, which was what I closed or covered, I shorted it here, covered it here, I think. And then, of course, it continues on. And I suspect miners will just keep going lower, just like silver, just like platinum, just like palladium, just like silver miners, you name it. So, blah. Okay, now, as I mentioned, I do have a whole heap, 40. Is it? Actually, it's 43. That's how busy I've been. I've lost track of my position. I've got 43 short positions. That's bonkers, isn't it? Here's a few of them. Here's one I mentioned a lot. AST Space Mobile, ASTS, down about 3%. It's been a pretty steady performer to the downside. The thrills of flying cars and rockets has died down recently. Palantir, PLTR, I'm short of this one yesterday, and this is down today about 2.25%. None of these are very dramatic, but they're going the right direction, particularly since another triple-digit gain on the NQ. Here's one I don't know if we've talked about or not. I might have, because it's a really nice pattern. ADMA. This is ADMA Biologics. You can see plain as day a beautiful head and shoulders top on that one. I've been tracking this for a while, and there's a couple of reasons I sort of held off on shorting it. One was I didn't know how much closer it would get to that neckline, because there's a lot of sunshine between the rectangle and where it peaked a couple of days ago. So I didn't know if it would just keep on shooting higher. The other reason is that it's not particularly heavily traded. It's kind of a middling volume, but it's such a big, beautiful pattern. I decided to give it a shot. And so it's worked out so far. And obviously my stop is just above this bar right here. So that's ADMA. Then there's DoorDash, whose symbol is dash, DASH. This one is down, although, kind of a scary looking little hammer there that might do a little counter turn rally, but I don't set stops that tightly. So that'll probably just we'll stick with that. Then there's GE Aerospace. We've talked about this a lot. Symbol GE. This is down about 2.2%. And it's working on kind of a messy reversal top right there. It's got some more work to do. It's going to have to cut below the lows of last week in order to complete that. But, it's moving in the right direction. And then there's HIMS. A lot of repetition here because they're working day to day. This, I think I mentioned yesterday as well, off about 5% on HIMS and HERS, HIMS. There's the rather crude reversal top on that one. And then with crypto still pretty weak, strategy continues to work out. I'm short Michael Saylor's strategy, MSTR, off about 4.5%. And there's a nice big top on that one. Again, not particularly well formed. Then here's one I don't think we've mentioned before, Pony, P-O-N-Y. This is pony.ai. And this is off almost 6%. Pretty decent top on that one. And this is one of these, never seen a profit in their life kind of companies. And it's doing good things. I look at a lot of charts to try to beat these out of the bushes. That's why you've probably never heard of a lot of these. And then one last one here, Rigetti, RGTI, down over 3%. So on the whole, just a really good day. As usual, as I glance over at my quotes, there are some greens here and there, but on the whole, they're new positions. So they were entered earlier today at better prices. And so it's a pretty solid day. I feel especially good about that because the market's barely down at all. When the Fed did their announcement, it tumbled down. The ES was down like 28 or something. At the moment, it's down like 6. It could well be green by the time the day is over. It's really all about earnings tonight. That's going to have an outsized effect. Speaking of, these are the 4 big boys, and I've put them kind of in increasingly interesting order. The most dull one to me is Alphabet, Google. It had a nice little top there, and this did what the market in general did in a big way. Fell, retraced, and then rolled its eyes and just kept blasting higher. So it's at lifetime highs now, and no position. I guess it'll just keep on keeping on. I mean, this is a very powerful stock, and it's definitely acting very bullish. Microsoft MSFT has been exceptionally weak stock relative to everything else. You can see it had just a terrible run here. And this is in the context of a staggering bull market. Just fell and fell and fell. It finally bottomed and has rallied to some degree. But I do think it's going to have to best last week's high to sort of prove itself. Then we have Amazon, AMZN, which is, I guess, lifetime highs as well. Very messy. It has cut below and above this trend line. I got no read on that. The only one I have a position in at all is Meta. I have put options on this that expire in September. If this goes blasting into the stratosphere, I guess I'll just throw my hands up and get out and be done with it. But among all these, that's my only position. So as far as the income in general goes, this has been pretty much green for the day. We're still well above this rectangle that we've been within. And this will definitely have some movement tomorrow because almost all the trillions and trillions of dollars of market cap are at stake with respect to these earnings announcements. And I'll just say in closing, tip of the hat to Bitcoin, which again keeps trying to scare me night after night. But this is the 5th red bar in a row. I'm getting used to the spookiness in the middle of the night when it's lurching higher. You can see it from those long shadows being thrown. But on the whole, this is Old Faithful. It's doing just fine.